Kevin Brady, welcome to the Vermillion Unplugged. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jose. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Sweet. So we're not strangers. I actually kind of know you. And before we get into it, I really do want to thank you because you guys made our banner, and we use that now all the time when we sell the tacos. If you want to know about that, and man, because this is what happens. So like when we go sell food, we'll go to like the flower farm in Elk Point, and we get everything. But the first thing I want to grab is the sign, is that banner, because I think it's amazing. People look at it, they know what the menu is. I love it. I think without that, I don't know. It gives that, I don't know, that impression. I just want to thank you on that part. It's really, really cool.
Oh, we were more than happy to help. I know when you guys were starting out, that was fantastic to be able to help you. And I'll just take credit for the ordering part. Jessie is definitely the design layout person, so she's the one who made it beautiful for you.
So that's what I was wondering. How did that start? Because if I remember right, we talked about a little bit about it, because you used to work at USD, right?
Correct. Yes.
So
22 years.
How did that come about?
Basically, it was just an opportunity. I mean, I had been there quite a while, and I guess for the most part, I had planned on retiring from the university. I loved what I did, but at the same time, it was we do own some rentals, and it's nice to have time to do maintenance on those and things of that nature. So when the opportunity to buy Thread and Ink came up, we jumped at it, and so we purchased it. And then 5 years later, I realized I still didn't have enough time to do what I needed to do. So that's when kind of a decision was made to sell it. But I did keep the engraving and the promotional side, so like the banners and yard signs and those kind of things. I've kept on the side, so still doing that. But it allows me much more freedom to not have a brick and mortar store, to be able to get out and about in the community and get out and about and do what I need to do for our properties as well.
So, because before that, at USD, you were doing, if I remember right, was it IT?
I was in IT for, I believe, 16 years. And then for the last 6, I was in nursing, actually. So I did simulation with the high-tech mannequins. So a lot of what I did was the programming of the simulations that went on. And a lot of times, being kind of the token male in nursing, I did a lot of the voices overhead. I think I traumatized a lot of young nurses. Probably they hear my voice, and they're probably still a little PTSD. But
and then also, I didn't know this before, because before that, because you were in the military also.
Correct.
So you're a veteran.
Yes.
What branch?
I was in the Army National Guard, but I was activated for Desert Storm. So we were part of the 730th Medical Company here in town, and then we were attached, kind of separated a little bit. My 3 of the 4 platoons were attached to the 1st Armored Cavalry Division. My platoon was attached to the 2nd Armored Cavalry Division out of Germany that is, I believe, no longer in existence. But it was kind of weird being separated from them. But once the war started, I think they really appreciated having us. Initially, I'm not so sure they were excited to have a National Guard unit attached to them. But when everything kind of hit the fan, we definitely pulled our weight and really got the appreciation of them, I believe.
What made you want to go into the military? Was it like a passion, or?
I wouldn't say it was a passion. It was, for me, my parents were very hardworking, but didn't necessarily have the means to help me to go to college. And I thought I had saved up lots of money working in high school, but boy, 1 year into college, I realized I probably didn't have enough without taking out an immense amount of loans. And so I definitely, my brother's brother-in-law was a recruiter, and he was working on me for a long time. And finally, I just ran into him and I said, I'm ready to sign up. And so, yeah, I did join, and I don't regret it. If I had it to do over again, would I? I don't know. That's a tough question. But at the same time, that is part of what you sign up for, is the potential to go to war. And I'm proud of my service and proud of the way we held our own, and we were definitely a very good unit. So
because I don't think so. I've never done the military, and I don't have family. I think maybe there's like my dad's cousin, something like that. So I don't have any experience, but I've talked to a lot of people a lot of veterans. And what are those like? I guess what's it like? Like when you get there, is it because this is my this is where I get my information. I either get it from Google or I get it from Call of Duty. I'm pretty sure that's not accurate. I don't know, but like, how is it? Is it tough? Is it just like how they show, like screaming or this and that, or is it like a good thing? You feel me?
Well, from my experience, a lot of it, prepping is the big thing. When we're going to Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Kuwait. Those are the three places that we hit for the most part. And the cultural differences are, luckily, we had very good training going in. So they gave us a lot of the cultural cues, what to do, what to look for, and those natures when dealing with the locals. But for us, probably the big part was we were, I say only, but we were there for 6 months. Because we were activated for 6 months. We weren't there the whole 6 months. But when we got into country, it was January, so it was cold here.
Mhm.
But we got there and it was already, 80, 90 degrees. And I will say that when we first got there and went to Dahran, it was more on the coast and it was very humid. But when we got out into the desert, when we started our field training, it is very true. It's a dry heat. So you kind of get used to it. But what we did was a lot of moving. I mean, you kept slowly moving closer and closer to the border, getting ready for the ground war after the air war had started. The air war actually started while we were in flight on our way. So we got directed when we were over Cairo, Egypt, back to Germany and had to spend 3 days in Germany before they said, okay, it's okay. Because we were on a commercial airliner. And so there was like 300 of us on this plane. And so they were a little worried about it, even though we had F-16s on our wings the whole way. We ended up coming in a little later into Saudi Arabia then.
Were you ever scared?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there were always moments. When we first got to Dahran, if you ever watched any of the kind of newscast of it, there were the Scud attacks and those kind of things. And those happened a lot. And we were on, I don't know, 5th or 6th floor of this like apartment complex that they had for us. And we'd always have to go down to first. So it was a lot of up and down the stairs. And then after a while, you just kind of got used to it. But you would look outside and you could see the Patriot missiles go up and then kind of take the Scuds out. And so, it was always nerve wracking because there were some Marines that did get killed by the Scud attacks. And then, before the war started, I always tell this, one of my memories that always pops up is right before the ground war started, there was to try to clear it out before the ground war started, they kind of dropped a fuel air bomb that was quite a ways away from us, but it was a super clear night. And as soon as we heard the big boom, and you could look, and all we saw, and I was on kind of night patrol. I was out in the foxhole, and this wall of dust was just coming our way, and that was really freaky. And then, so those are probably a couple of memories, other than during the big tank battle that we were at afterwards, and after things had calmed down, and we finally, the adrenaline died down, and we were sleeping. A couple of the Republican guard tanks had broken through the line. And so they told us to get to our foxholes. Of course, we're medics with our M16s. Like, what are we going to do with the tank? But then we heard this loud rumble and we got really nervous. But we found out that basically it was our tanks, the M1A1s, were coming after them. And we went back to bed then. So those are probably the worst things that happened to us, other than dealing with casualties, obviously.
I've heard, you could correct me, I'm probably wrong. I've heard that in war, they're not allowed to hit the medics. Is that right, or is that not right?
That is correct. Does that mean it doesn't happen? Of course, we have our Geneva Convention card. We, as medics, we carry a different ID that basically identifies us as medics, and we're supposed, if captured, we would treat other, people who were captured. But luckily that we didn't have to come to that in this particular war. But yes, I mean, that's why when in convoy, we have a lot of Red Crosses, and when we were there, we had the Red Crescent as well to be culturally appropriate.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense. Now, what are the positives of being in the military? Or what did you like about it?
Probably one of the best things for me was, and if any of the Wakanda people see me now, they'll probably agree. I mean, as a kid, I had structure, but a lot of times I was a little mischievous, probably. And I sometimes, especially when I first got to school, I could be kind of a hothead sometimes. And so, the one thing it taught was to bring cohesion, bring you into a team. Like when I went to basic, and I went in with a year of college, so I went in as an E3, and most people are E1s going in. So instantly you become a leader because you're an E3, even though you probably have no more experience than they do. But I took a semester off from college to go through my basic and AIT. So what a lot of it was for me is there, you always hear stories of people having the choice of going to prison or going to the military. I had some of those. So, it really, it was real, but, some of those were kind of hard-headed people. But at the same time, what it gave me the ability to do is it gave me the ability to talk to them and say, hey, they're trying to break us down. They're trying to divide us, so that we either choose to come together as a team and do what we need to do, or, this kind of goes sideways. And so, that it really kind of forced me to be a leader. Either that or we were going to have a really rough, basic training. So it was a good experience for me. And I kind of kept those lessons throughout life too, is you kind of learn a lot of leadership if you want to, and that's kind of a nice thing, is that you always have the ability to hopefully do the right thing always.
Is there a big difference between, because I feel like I've asked this before, and I probably did, between it's Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force. Am I missing something else?
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard. Yep. Is there like a big difference, or if someone wants to join, what do they look like? Oh, maybe I should do this one, this one, or?
When it comes to National Guard, I would say most either join the Army National Guard or the Air National Guard. Marines is pretty much a full-time commitment. There is like a Coast Guard Reserve. There are reserves as well. So there's National Guard and reserves, which are closely related. Don't ask me how. Kind of more of the, once a month and then two weeks a year training, more so than, being regular. Although there are regular full-time National Guard and full-time reserves as well. So like the 185th Air National Guard out of Sergeant Bluff, Sioux City, there are a lot of full-timers down there as well.
Would you recommend people to join the military? Or it depends, I guess.
That's always tough. If you have the wherewithal, if you're looking for a great way to kind of set your life up and, try to get on the right track, yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with it at all. The only problem is I kind of found out after one tour, maybe war wasn't for me. And that's kind of why I got out. I toyed with staying in. It was kind of a matter of, will I be able to get a promotion? And there was a lot of things that went into it, but in the end, I'm glad I got out after 6 years. So
see, and then one thing, so I want to thank you so much also, because before coming here to Vermillion, I never had that exposure to people being in the military, and me being, I just didn't know. I always, I had that stereotypical, oh, this guy's doing this, he likes this, whatever. But especially when I came here, knowing like you, and there's other people that are veterans. Actually, there's a lot of people I know. I didn't know that. And, they, the struggles or how war is or this and that. I'm like, oh, y'all guys are like on a different level. Like, I can't be complaining about anything, but I do want to thank y'all. And, but another thing, before we start diving into other stuff, you being a veteran, is there, and I think I should be asking this more to my friends, you being a veteran, is there like stuff, and we won't be political, but like, is there some stuff that people aren't aware of with veterans, or they need like maybe some help with, or, stuff like that?
I'd say we deal with a lot of the same things that quite a few people do. Like I've in the past been very open with the fact that after 20 years of being back, I was going through a divorce, and all of a sudden a lot of my PTSD came back, like a lot of flashbacks came back. I started having really bad dreams. Because we saw things that most people don't want to see. But I kept it kind of together for a while. But then after a while, I went and had counseling for it. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, is that sometimes readjustment for veterans is tough. And being in the National Guard versus being regular might be a little better, but at the same time, everybody goes through their own battles. And I always, if I know anybody struggling, I always tell them that there's, help out there. There's the Veterans Readjustment Center in Sioux Falls, which is amazing. That's where I, did a lot of counseling for, to kind of get it straightened out. But yeah, I'm not one that ever really remembers my dreams or anything like that. But to have some of those, harrowing, wake up screaming type dreams, sometimes based in reality, sometimes not, sometimes combined, but sometimes there would be somebody that I love dearly that was in the midst of my dreams and I couldn't figure out why. Yeah. So, you always try to sort through those, but yeah.
Or is one of the hobbies I think I've seen you do, is being on a bike.
Yes.
So, and I could relate to this because I love being on my bike. If people see me like early mornings, they'll see me around downtown, go this way. I'm on my road bike. I love it. It's fun. Besides doing the lifting at the gym, I love being on my bike. I like it. It's fun. It's really fun. But what's that bike you have, or what is that? Cool.
So I've gone through many paths in my past, I guess. I call myself a recovering runner because I did run a couple marathons right before going to war. And then when I came back, my back was just bad enough where over 3 miles just wasn't working for me. Mm-hmm. So I went from distance running to just distance biking. So I had a diamond frame for the longest time, a normal road bike, and I still do, and I still ride it once in a while. But yes, I do have a recumbent. So I have a Bachetta TI Aero, which is titanium, and it moves right along. And that's what I love for long distance, because I say it's like riding a Barca Lounger on wheels, because it's super comfortable. I've done some seriously long rides with that thing, and it's amazing for somebody with any sort of back issues. So
how far do you go, or what's like a normal trip?
Well, as of late, anybody who knows me knows that I'm disappointed, but I haven't been able to put in the miles as of late. I had a shoulder problem. I'm getting some work done, but I couldn't take the pressure. Even on the recumbent, I was having trouble keeping it up. But now I've had a lot of physical therapy on it, and I'm getting older, so I have arthritis meds to take for it. But those kind of things happen. But I've done anywhere. A lot of times if I'm just going for a quick one, I'll go to Elk Point and back, or I'll go to Elk Point, Jefferson and around, which is a 50 miler. But I've done 100 milers. We've done, a friend of mine in town and I have done this thing. They don't have it anymore, but it's called the gut check, where it starts on the Wyoming border and goes to the Minnesota border in 48 hours. So that's 412 miles. And so, yeah.
Okay, never mind.
I've done that twice.
I thought I could keep. See, I thought I was.
You probably could keep up with me now. Yes, yeah, you could. We can ride.
No, there's no way then, because what I do. So I'll go. So I live right over there where Prentice Park is. So I'll go. Yeah, Prentice Park towards the high school. And then there's a intersection.
Crawford.
Yeah, I think. And I'll head to the right. And then right before there's a hill, I'll turn that way. So I guess what do you call it? Valley View. And I don't know where I go, but then I'll head. I come towards this, where the gas station is. It used to be Shell. Now it's.
Oh, yeah. That's.
Pump and Pack?
Yeah, Pump and Stuff.
Pump and Stuff, yeah. And then I'll go through downtown. And then where Bliss Point is, I'll go through Bliss Point. Then I go around where Polaris is and that. And I head home. And I'm like, man, I did my 7-8 miles. But you guys are doing...
Yeah, I was doing the math in my head. I was like, that's probably about 8 miles.
You guys, I did... Oh, snap. Okay, I'm way off. And also, what I was doing too, I started doing running. For some reason, Myra keeps saying that, why am I on my bike? Why don't I just run? I'm like, okay, fine, I'll run. So I'm with some guys running, and every time I run, I feel it in my legs. They only do 4 miles, and I'm like about to pass out. So I don't know how you guys do those long distance. My excuse is, maybe I'm built for speed, short burst.
everybody's built for something for sure. No, but there's groups for cycling too. They shout out to the Sloss. There's a text group. They call themselves the Sloss. We'll get there when we get there. But they'll do 10, 15 miles at kind of a leisurely pace, not usually overly fast unless it's, all the riders are kind of, they definitely don't want to leave anybody behind. That's the big thing. So yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of groups.
Does the gear matter? Because I see you guys wearing like tight stuff when I ride my bike. So I wear my helmet. It's very important. I want people to wear a helmet.
Yes.
If it's super dark outside, I have a little light that blinks in the back. But I wear for example, I wear a long sleeve. It could be loose, and I wear my my pants that I go to the gym with. But is there an advantage wearing tight stuff?
Well, if you're going to go distance, I think the big advantage of the spandex and stuff is that the wind doesn't get into it, cause it, and anything a lot of it is to, things to slow you down, and also it's just a little safer because especially if you're biking a lot on a diamond frame, when you go to, a lot of times if your backside gets sore and you want to stand up, you don't want anything loose that could catch the handlebar.
That does.
So that's a big thing probably on the safety side, and try not to have loose things that could possibly catch the handlebars but yeah, a lot of it is for drag and that kind of thing as well.
Okay. Is there anything else that you do that I know? Because you got a military business owner, entrepreneur, athlete, computer wizard, but also now you're running for office.
Correct. I'm running for Clay County Commissioner. Yes.
So, why did you want to run?
Even doing this sometimes is a podcast like this is stressful because not stressful, I would say, but it's more of a out of my comfort zone. I love doing things for the community. I've always done things for the community, but I love doing them behind the scenes. I'm not necessarily the person that needs the accolades to go with things. So I'm kind of coming into the commissioner race as somebody who just wants to do good. I've lived here my whole life in Clay County between Wakanda and Vermillion. And other than going out doing my Army time, my permanent address has always been Clay County. So I have a great passion for this county, and I'm not coming in with any agenda. I'm not trying to rock any boats. I'm just coming in to try to see if we can do some things economically, see if we can do some things to take care of the less fortunate in our county. I saw your interview with Kevin O'Kelly. And you guys talked at depth about some of the poverty issues in this county. And it is amazing that we can't figure out a way to do this better. And I hope to be able, if I am elected, to be able to serve on some of the committees that allow me to make a difference in some of those areas. And if not, at least listen to the people. I've always talked to people. I'm always available. I'm pretty approachable, I like to think. So I'm hoping that people will, if I get elected, that they talk to me and tell me what their thoughts are. And so, at least then we can start a conversation. I don't want to seem like I'm up here and everybody else is down here. I just want us all on the same level so we can all kind of work together.
And then that's also one thing that I admire about people running, because in the beginning, and I say this too, I was completely wrong. I thought people that if they're already on the local government stuff, I thought, oh man, they're just doing it for money. They're probably making millions of dollars. It's probably not happening around here. But you guys do it, every time I talk to someone, it's because, I want to do something for the community, or this impact me. I want to do this. It's, I think it's something different that I've noticed here versus somewhere in a bigger city. More here, it's smaller, but everyone's more, you see people, and it's more like a community. You guys do stuff. Now, I don't know much about the county, though. I know stuff about Vermillion, but in Clay County, so you mentioned it, Wakanda's part of Clay County, right?
Yeah, Wakanda is technically the only other city that, or is it called the town? I don't know, city town. The only other full city, there's Meckling and Burbank, and then 1/3 of Irene. So Irene actually lays in 3 counties. It's a really strange little town. So it's in not strange little town. It's a great little town, but it's strange in the fact that it lays in 3 counties. So the bottom quarter or third lays in Clay County. The top is in Turner County, and to the left is Yankton County. So it's really kind of unique in that situation. So
Centerville is not part of Clay County?
Centerville is in Turner. Once you hit Highway 46 and go north, it's in Turner County.
Okay.
So we go all the way to to Highway 46.
And then Elk Point is not.
Elk Point is also in Union County. So once you go 1 mile past Burbank as you're going to Elk Point, then you're in Union County.
Oh, okay.
And about 1 mile before the Coffee Cup too that's when you go into Union County as well.
Oh, okay. I need to pay more attention to that. I haven't noticed. Okay. Okay. I'll pay more attention.
And then right before Gayville is where Yankton County starts. So.
Okay. Is Gayville part of?
Nope. Gayville is also, they're in Yankton County.
Okay.
But they're close to the county line, but they're just in Yankton County.
So with what you might know or you might not know, but like, is there any, what's the word I want to say, like awareness or issues because I'm only familiar with Vermillion, but like, is there issues that are different from Vermillion versus Clay County? I remember I talked to Andy, or the Sheriff Andy, about it. He said there are some differences versus county versus Vermillion. Is it the same that you noticed, or?
I mean, everybody has their own differences. Wakanda's a small little town that really is kind of, it still has paved roads going into it, but at the same time, it's not on the major highways. So, like Irene has Highway 46 going into it. Centerville has Highway 19 going into it. Well, Wakanda's 5 miles south of 46 and 7 miles west of Highway 19. So it's a little bit off the beaten path. So, it's not like most of the time, you're not going to stumble into Wakanda and say, hey, let's stop here for a while. I do, because I still love it. And we go back to eat quite a bit. And plus I'm a Legion member there. So I get, go back once a month, at least for Legion meetings. So, I'd say some of the things are still the same. They still need help with their roads. They still need help here and there. One of the things I would like to do if I get on the commission is, we get split up. Commissioners get split up and they do different things. Like somebody will be a liaison to the VCDC. Somebody will be a liaison to here, like the Parks Board, or, they'll do different things. What I would like to do is, the one thing I haven't seen, and I don't know this for sure, so I may be speaking out of turn, but I don't know that there's necessarily a liaison back to Wakanda or the area. I mean, I know obviously we have a huge farm community, and they all need to be taken care of too. And there are things that are in place there. But as far as the city of Wakanda, I'm not so sure that there's a whole lot of direct communications between the county commissioners and them. So, and that's probably something I should have found out before now. But anyway, that's one thing in one place. I do have still a strong connection to the town, and I really want to see things happen there. So I hope to be able to do some things back home too.
That'd be cool, because you're from Wakanda, and you kind of want to be there, kind of like the bridge. Because I've never been to Wakanda. We passed by there, and the only thing I know, hey, it's Wakanda every time. Me and Myra and Victoria, like, hey, I do that. That's so cool. I remember when we came here and we saw Wakanda. I swear I told my parents or my sister. I was like, hey, we live by Wakanda, and they thought I was just like joking around, because they're like from the movie. I'm like, yeah, it's like the movie, but
spelled different.
Yeah, so it's really cool. But I need to go visit Wakanda, because you mentioned you go eat there, like for family, or is there like restaurants, or?
There is literally, unfortunately, only one place left. It's called The Pit. It's been a bar that's been there forever, but they have amazing pizza and wings on Wednesday night. And shout out to The Pit. Shout out to Jen and Chad. They definitely, I mean, it's really good food. And anytime we go there, very rarely has there been less than and it's not the biggest place in the world, but I can probably count on one hand the time we've been there that there's been less than 10 to 15 people in there. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then they're actually remodeling it and building it. So there's like a next second level for like dartboards and stuff, and kind of potential, area for bands and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, they're doing good work trying to make things happen in Wakanda. And again, that's the kind of thing I like to see and would like to promote a little more. So,
Okay, no, now I'm excited because so what me and Myra are trying to do is around here, trying to, we want to, because we don't eat out a lot. We usually, actually, most of the time, I'm saying 9% of the time we eat at home, we make food. But if we go out, we want to try different things, different places. We're like, hey, let's try this one, try this, kind of giving like our little reviews. So next stop is going to be the Pit. Is there something on the menu that you recommend? Or what do you grab?
Our favorite is the Pit Special, which is kind of like, it's like a ranch sauce, but it also, we usually get it. We're weird Midwesterners. We don't like hamburger in our pizza. So we take the hamburger off and put extra mushrooms on. So
I like mushrooms.
Yeah. So it's kind of a, not quite a supreme, but it's kind of in that realm, but it's a fabulous pizza. Oh, and they also put like red pepper flakes in the sauce. So it's already hot. So don't bury it anymore.
Okay.
I'm a sweater.
Now, do you, speaking of pizza, do you put pineapple on pizza or not?
I'm good with pineapple.
Everyone says that around here. But also Myra.
There's very little I won't eat though, so I'm a bad example.
Okay. Because also Myra eats pizza. So I don't know what it is, and I'm gonna go on a rant right here. So when we in Mexico, I don't know what they do, but they also they like pineapple on their pizza, and I feel like a lot of people here like pineapple. I feel like the Italians are like crying, but also so Myra thinks because here in America they usually, well, not everyone, but it's kind of common putting ranch on pizza sometimes, or when they dip it. Some people like it, some people don't. So Myra thinks that's weird, but over there they put ketchup on their pizza. There's something called chimichurri. It's not the Argentinian one, but I don't know what it is, like a mayonnaise sriracha type of thing. I don't know. And I'm like, when they grab something, like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? And then also, like, when I eat pizza, I kind of fold it. I go, what is it, like a Brooklyn style?
Yep.
And then when Myra's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I fold the pizza. She's like, that's weird. Why are you folding it? I'm like, well, how do you eat the pizza? She goes like this. I'm like, see, I could go on a rant on the pizza.
No wrong way.
I guess you're right. There's no wrong way. I can't complain. It's like if, for example, if I got mad at Taco Bell or nothing, I'm like, no. I like authentic tacos, and then I'm actually a fan of Taco Bell's chalupas. And back in the day, I don't know about it now. I haven't been there. Jack in the Box, their tacos, they were pretty good. Now, are they like super authentic? No. Are they good? I think they're good. I haven't tried Taco John's. I heard people say Taco John's is pretty good.
Yeah, some of that's pretty good too. Like you said, it's not like what you guys make. I miss you guys on every Saturday.
This year we only did it twice, but not here. We did it at our stop now is Elk Point at that flower farm. It's because here I haven't had an issue with the permits, but you know what's a weird thing? I think it might be a state thing, because when we started it 2 years ago, we would we have to get that license. You got to get insurance, all this type of stuff, and then permission from the city. And I would get, since it's not a food truck, if people are wondering, it's a food stand. That's how they do it in Mexico. There's no food trucks over there. I would get this temporary food permit. It's every 2 weeks, and that's how I would get it 2 years ago. And last year, I asked about it. I'm like, hey, we're gonna do this thing. We got all our paperwork, this and that. And then they said, no, we can't. I'm like, what? Who? Not the city, but it was the state health or health, whatever you call it. And then I said, why not? We did it last year, and it's just temporary. And they're like, we can't issue it to you because there's a lot of people in the state that were getting those temporary food permits. I'm like, okay, that's why is that my problem? So she said, we only can give it to you if it's a city organized event. I'm like, city organized event? So that means we can't do like the normal Saturday, Sunday, like we were doing? They're like, And I'm like, what about farmer's market? They said, yeah. So we did one farmer's market here. Then we hit up Elk Point over there. But then after that, they were saying, hey, you guys, like, we can't give you the food permit no more, the temporary one. I'm like, what? So I don't know. I'm trying to figure all that stuff out too. I just don't. I don't know why. So that's why like people are wondering why we haven't been here. I know. I also um last weekend they had the thing at Prentice Park. The music
Oh,
is alive,
right.
and I talked to David about it, and because he invited us 2 years ago over there, and then last year, or he told me he said that he heard that we weren't doing anything. I'm like, no, we can as long as it's like a city organized event. But I miss it. I really do enjoy it. I think there's some stuff going on with the brewery. Maybe we can go. They're still trying to figure that out. Because last year we did in December we did tamales. You had our tamales too, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so we did that, and it was amazing. I did not. I'm not bragging or anything, but
I agree. They are amazing.
thank you. And
Probably just up to your up to your sales.
but it's like it was so amazing because we planned. It was December something, and we planned on being there for just I think like an hour, 2 hours, and then right when it hit, I swear it was like 5 or 6 o'clock. We were gonna start. I think 5 o'clock because it was night. We sold out like it was in 23 minutes. I was like, oh snap, sweet, let's go home. So those are the stuff, and then I do like another food option we do is the conchas. I think we're gonna try to do it like orders maybe if people want it, because I usually do that at the farmers market.
That's the sweetbread.
Yeah, it's a sweetbread. So yeah, that stuff. There's a lot of food. I just wish it was less like getting the restriction or permits. I mean, I kind of got it, but now like some stuff is making it harder. Same thing. People have been asking about the salsas that we make, and we're like, yeah, we could jar them up or something. But then like now you got to send it to this. And I'm like, man, this is a little difficult. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It's just
well, hopefully the right people listen to your podcast and they say, yes, we want them to here's the paperwork. Here's what you need.
Yeah. Just make it easy. If you win, if you win to become on the commission, on Clay County Commission, do you have the power to do that, or it's probably
that's probably out in the county, maybe as far as permits are concerned. I guess I don't know if we deal with permits or not, but I would definitely do anything in my power to help you guys get back on the street.
I like the street stuff, and I know there's more people, even like people here or people from other countries that would like the street food stuff. I'm gonna admit my first mistake, because when I heard about the school, I was one of the first people complaining. I was like, why are they doing it here connected and this and that? It's like, what? They're wasting money. Until they finished it, we went inside, and now they have like activities close by. I'm like, you know what? It was actually pretty good. I was wrong. Like, I'm always wrong about all this stuff. So that stuff is good. The jail, that's another thing that's coming up. Yep. So I just don't know too much. I've heard about the current jail over here, that it's like really old. I haven't been in there. I need to check that out though.
It is. It is really old. And the other problem with that is, due to that and due to our inability to segregate prisoners and so on. So I watched I watched most of your podcast.
That's awesome.
I watched Andy talk about that a little bit as well. And, and that, a lot of the things you didn't even get into with him is, we actually ship prisoners out of county and have to pay for that. So, like they're actually being housed in maybe Union County, maybe Yankton County, maybe Minnehaha County, who knows? So, we're paying, and, instead of having the ability to house them here. So in the long run, this is way going to pay for itself, and quite possibly we may end up with other counties prisoners, who knows? It just makes absolute sense to have a better facility than what we have, because what we have, I'm very happy that to speak, not speak for Andy, but on behalf of Andy, saying that this was sorely needed. I mean,
okay,
both bond issues definitely hurt as far as the pocketbook's concerned, but in the long run, it's going to be so great for Clay County
long term. And well, since you've been here longer than I have, I still say I'm new. I think we just hit 4 years in September, so I'm like, oh snap, 4 years here. Is there like anything you, I guess, would like to have, or something improved, or just have here in Clay County, Vermillion? Oh, let's talk about the county. Like, for example, it could be like, jails, or the jail, Someone, I don't know what it is. Some people, they want to Taco Bell. I always hear that. One thing that I've heard a lot of people don't talk about is like a rec. What do you call it? Like a sports.
A recreational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I haven't seen here yet. I don't think the armory counts.
There was a discussion at one point, and I don't know where it is. Again, I've served on a lot of these little tiny behind the scenes committees. This one I wasn't on, but there was a talk about building like a wellness center, but for the community.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now with the Boys and Girls Club coming in and some of those things, I don't know if it's moving forward. I would be speaking out of turn to say that I know what's going on with that, but I had seen the concept drawings and it was kind of a great idea. And I think it would have been well received because I think there are a number of people who like to work out or like to do their thing, but don't necessarily like to go in with all the college students all the time. Because they want their own space. They might be a little insecure going in with all these college kids who don't know what it's like to have the mid-age spread. So.
No, I agree. And another thing that, because the recreation center or one not being here, that surprised me. Because back home, there was one next to the middle school, and it was a very popular place. I mean, same thing, like this, the rec. Then there's the baseball fields. I think there's the soccer fields or whatever. But it was a place where like a bunch of kids just went and hung out. Then they had like, there's a little gym on the inside. There's basketball courts on the inside. And, just a fun little place, for especially kids. They just hang out there. I think one argument I've heard is like, I guess they say the wellness center. That's why we have it. So there's no point. I guess I'm just thinking like, what do kids do after school? But I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, I think that's where the Boys and Girls Club is supposed to come in a little more, and they're doing a great job. But at the same time, I think there's still, there's still some growing to do with what we could do to make things a little better in this town as well for everybody. A lot of even I served on a committee that kind of tried to expand the bike path at one time, and we finally got it done. We got it going all the way along the river, all the way to Dawson Bridge, which is as you go out of town on the bottom. And of course, next year or 2 years after was like the first of like 800-year floods, the way it seems. And a lot of it fell into the river. So it's been abandoned. So, but that's one thing my wife as a realtor hears all the time too, is the fact that, when she gives candidate tours, like if you were coming in and, it's a position like a VP position or something, or a professor, she'll take them around town and show them whatever they want to see. But she goes, I get asked over and over, like, what do you have for a bike path? And, it's like, sometimes she says sheepishly say, well, we have this, but, it would be nice to have something that connects, but I don't know how to make that happen either, because that would have been a great way to start, to try to connect, to have like maybe a 10-15 mile loop around town. But I don't have the answer to that right now either.
And then one thing, and I guess it's always me, I'm always wrong on this stuff, because all this stuff costs money.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know it costed money. I should have known that. But a lot of it's like, it's not like for example, it's not like a company, buying this stuff so they could do it. It's my community, or I guess that's where the taxes come from, right?
Right. And budgets, but a lot of like, sometimes with that, sometimes there's grants. So like when we were, when I was working with them on that, I believe that a lot of that was grant or TIF money. So that allowed us a little flexibility. I think we had to put in so much, and then the grant put in so much, but then unfortunately we lost it.
All right. Now, last thing before we run out of time, housing. I know that's a big issue, but I feel like I hear it, but I don't know if there is like a solution. But have you ever thought of one, or you think it doesn't have to be like a full solution, but you think, hey, maybe this will like kind of spark it up? Or because I always hear there's a housing issue in the U.S. There's always like a shortage. Here though, I've talked to a lot of people, and they say even it's been like that forever. I guess because it's a college town. But have you heard ways like, hey, maybe we could help out with this, or the solution? Maybe
there are people. I know some things, and I don't know how much I can say.
Okay.
But one of the things I know that they're working on, like they're trying to get like people who would like to retire back here that maybe went to school here, moved away, and would like to come back. They're trying to get like a retirement community. And I know I think they're getting together this weekend, but they're trying to make it so people want to come back here as kind of a destination to retire as well. And I've also heard of potential like housing close to campus for the same purpose, like almost like a dorm for people who would like to come back and retire. Now, I haven't heard that in a long time, but that was one thing that they talked about, is trying to get housing close to campus. So if people wanted to go to games and
that's kind of
come
cool.
back and be,
I get it.
They were alumni, just want to come back and move here. But excuse me. But the big thing, we just need more housing, and a lot of that's coming with I'm sure you've heard that we have the joint jurisdiction plan right now, where we're trying to expand the city out a little more and figure out which way to grow. And a lot of it comes down to affordable housing as well, and that's one place that we probably do lag a little bit. A lot of houses being built now are, they're pricey. They're pricey for somebody, first-time home buyers. They're pricey for people just looking to get going on buying a house and getting some equity. And that's always a problem as a landlord myself. Sometimes I look back, we're done buying properties, but and if there are cheaper homes, a lot of times people will buy them for investment properties, and unfortunately that takes off the market for first-time home buyers and things of that nature. So, if we could figure out a way to have builders work with first-time home buyers and, make it reasonable, but, that it's always the catch-22, it's hard to please everybody all the time, but we absolutely, have a housing shortage, but the houses that are being built are out of the price range of a lot of people, which makes it tough. So
yeah, I think I know. So the places because now I pay attention to what's going on. So you got Bliss Point. Now they got Jolly, which they're planning on having houses there. I think they'll sell lots. But they don't know. I feel like they don't know yet. I'll ask Jose Dominguez when I do my second round with him in a few weeks. Also that right. So where Wells Fargo is at, right behind Hex Barbecue, that area, I think I saw the council meeting. I think they're trying to make some townhomes. I think. There's something that's been happening there, like across from Ace Hardware. There used to be a trailer court there, and they took that out, and it was going to be developed, and it wasn't going to be developed, and it's been back and forth, and I've kind of lost count on as to where we're at with that. But yeah, that would be obviously an ideal location too, because it's close to the university. And we still need student housing as well, so regardless of how you look at it, it would be a great area to develop. Okay. Now I'm kind of going off topic, but this connects, because I was just talking to my mom about it in the morning. We were talking about same thing, housing, how, like sometimes it's kind of expensive back in the day, everything's changed. But one thing we noticed is like on, especially I've seen in duplex or in Bliss Point, like duplexes, we're always wondering, we're like, because also I have a family member in Sioux Falls. They live in a duplex, and it's nice. But we always wonder, like, why do people like want to live in a duplex versus just like a regular house, something that's not attached? Or why do like builders build duplexes? Like, isn't it, or even like if you duplex or quadruplex or all that, isn't it just better to build just single family housing or houses? Because isn't that what like a family wants? Well, you're asking me a tough question. Oh, I'm sorry. Never lived in a duplex, but there are quite a few in town. Yeah. And supposedly they're just fine. I mean, they're basically almost, a lot of times they're just a mirror of the other house. Yeah. And I guess I've known people who have lived in it, or like own the whole part and then rented out the second, or own the whole duplex and then rented out half of it. Okay. Maybe that's what so sometimes you'll have that, but yeah, I'm not sure. I guess I've
been fortunate enough to always have my own place. But yeah, it's probably a little less expensive, maybe a little easier on taxes. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. But
All right.
now I'm going to have to think about that.
Sweet. So now we are running out of time, but is there any last things, shout outs, or anything you want to give out?
I really appreciate you doing these podcasts, because I know that you're doing it more out of the kindness of your heart than to do anything else. But it's been great learning about a lot of people in the community who I know, but then you learn something really cool about them. So shout out to my bandmates too, because we love playing music. And so come see the Bluff Ridge Band when you get a chance. And with that, I just really appreciate you doing this, Jose.
Sweet. All right. Thanks so much, man.
You bet.